to continue the recording. Okay, so we're in part 2 really of our training, kind of talking about host coaching through the holidays. And Pampered Chef knows that there is January, for the month of January, is one of the best months that you can have with Pampered Chef. Can you guys hear me okay?
I can.
Okay, good. The video on this is a little bit delayed. It's I'm not sure if it's working all right. Okay, so as long as we're good. So they kind of do a couple extra things to sort of help us out. And what I found when I started using the tools they gave us a couple years back is that my results for the month of January accelerated. And I know we still have all of November and all of December. And I do want to encourage you to go all the way through New Year's. So the thing is, though, that if you implement some of these techniques with your host coaching, you will find better results for your November parties and your December parties, which will help your January parties. Okay. So one of the tools they made available for us are called host coaching letters. And has anybody ever heard or seen those in the past? Lisa, I know you've been around for a while. Annette, Carol, Eric's a former.
I did not know about them last year.
Okay, didn't know about them last year. They slid a little note about them into the stir this last week for us. So how about if I share my screen and I'll show you how to get to them and what they are. Sound okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, very good. So I'm going to share the screen and see how this works. Okay, so you should see my Zoom screen. You guys can see this?
Mm-hmm.
All right, very good. So it'll go a little slow because we've got the webinar going and I'm recording it. But if you were to go, this is my email program. And tell me, are you guys getting the stir that comes via email?
Yes.
Okay, are you reading it?
Sometimes.
It's fairly new, but it's super packed with powerful, good information for you. So if I search for the stir here in my inbox and kind of go back, here it is right there. And I'm going to just open it up. And I actually shoot this into Evernote every week when I get it because it's got so much good stuff that you want to have it available for reference. So, and again, not all my pictures are loading right this minute, and it's because of the pull I've got on all of my internet stuff that's open right this minute. But there's the stir. Okay, so right here at the top of it, it said holidays heating up. And it's got some info about a plan for the holidays. Then it had that Express Party Checkout Pilot expansion, which I posted about on our Facebook team page, right?
Mm-hmm.
You scroll down. There were updates to the November host special. That's great. And here it was. New host coaching letters now available. Did anybody see this when it came out on Stir?
I saw it, but I didn't read it.
Okay, no problem. So what they've done in the past is they've designed these letters specifically to be geared for your January hosts. And I think this year they made them a little bit more generic for you so that you can use them for December hosts. You can actually use them for November hosts. But if you click on Get the Letters and you go over to Pampered Chef here, let me open it up. It opens up this section that's a plan for the holidays. Make sure that I've got it in the right spot here. And where did I get it? I'm trying not to overtax my internet connection right here. Okay, let's click on Get the Letters and see if it'll open. I had opened them up earlier. So these are host coaching letters, and the whole idea is that you and I always do feel like we don't want to bother our hosts. And it is true. They're busy doing their holiday prep things. We're busy doing our holiday prep things. And so you want a way to keep in touch with them and keep your party foremost in their mind so that they're taking their catalogs along with them when they go to do all their holiday things, and they're inviting throughout all the different activities that they're doing. And so this is an extra little step that you can add in addition to your normal host coaching steps. And what it is, as you open it up, is that they've made these 3 letters for us. And so if you click on the link from the STIR, it takes you to this page on the website under My Shows, and you scroll down. And over here, host coaching, it'll say host coaching letter 1, 2, and 3. So this is under My Shows and Show Planning Materials. And it's right underneath the link for the party pack area. Has anybody played around in this area?
I opened it up.
Got that far. Good. That's awesome. There's actually a really good checklist right here that if you print one out and use it for every party, you will be, worlds ahead of just really trying to keep track in your head what you did. Who commented that their biggest host coaching issue is inconsistency? Some of the parties work out really great. Some of them don't.
That was me who said that, Carol.
Okay. So having a consistent system in place that you implement for every single party will help that. But you do want to remember that does happen. And you want to always be looking at your averages. You don't want to assess your whole business based on looking at a single party, a single show. You want to look at a whole month's worth, or better yet, you want to look at a season's worth and look at your averages. So that, because I'll host coach to the nines and have a party that has only 2 people there. It does, in fact, happen. But then the next week I'll have one with 18. But what are the averages? So you want to look at your average attendance, your average order, your average sales in order to assess where do I need to be working. But a checklist is going to help you be able to implement the exact same steps for every single party. And that's probably the biggest piece of feedback I get from my hosts, is got a lot of support. Okay, Eric and I had this conversation. He was having trouble with a host who wasn't getting the evites out through the website. Well, there's evites, there's Facebook, there's text messages, there's email, and there's talking to people in person, or sometimes people even still like to mail their invitations. So the question is, you've got 5+ different ways of helping your host get the word out. How many of those 5 are they using? If they're doing all 5, that's brilliant, but maybe they're only doing 3 out of 5. That's still great as long as they're over inviting and collecting outside orders. Email may not be, or the website may not be your host's forte. Don't push it. Just focus on the areas where you can help her. Do you text? Great. I'll send you an invitation that we can send out via text. Do you get on the phone with your friends? Do you email? Are you Facebook? Find out which ways work and go for those. So do use a checklist. If you'd like to see mine, I have my own checklist for host coaching that has grown over the years, and it actually has a section for emailing, a section for texting, a section for Facebook, so that I can keep track based on every individual. And I use that checklist for every party. All right. And then I add in, this time of year, I add in these letters. So here's what they look like. I'm going to open up the first one for you. And it's actually gives an appetizer recipe for creamy Brussels sprout dip. This is it right here. And it says, hi, and you fill in their name. I'm looking forward to your show, and I've set aside, and you fill in the date right here. And down at the bottom, it's got a successful party tip. Encourage your guests to bring a friend, even those who may not be familiar with Pampered Chef. And it sends them a fun recipe. So they're getting something in the mail that's not a bill, it's not election material, and it's not a junk mail, right? The second letter has another recipe, And it says, your party's coming up soon. I'm so excited to get together with you and your friends. I know you're busy planning, putting together your guest list. And I just wanted to share an easy, delicious recipe. Okay. And it's got another successful party tip. Remind your guests to save the date. While you're out and about, you'll want to invite neighbors, coworkers, friends, and gym buddies. And it's got a recipe here for the one-pot sausage and kale pasta. Okay. So that's the second one. We're actually mailing these. Yes, we like electronic stuff. Yes, we like to email, but the impact of this is for them to get it in the mail. Here's the third letter, and it's all about chocolate and desserts. And it says, hi, host, your upcoming party is going to change your kitchen's life. Think of all the terrific Pamper Jeff products you'll be earning for free, half price, and at a discount. Okay, and it's got another successful party tip. When inviting your guests, tell them about your favorite products. And it has a recipe for, oh my goodness, cookies and cream Sunday trifle. Okay, so you have these three letters. And here's what I do. So I'm gonna stop sharing this for just a second. Whenever I book a party, I take and I fill out three new envelopes for that host and address three of them. And I print out a set of those letters for each person, for each host that I have. These happen to be the ones that I'm going to show you for demonstration purposes. Kathy ate Alcorn, and she booked January 8th with me. She booked that a couple of weeks ago. So I did my normal host coaching pieces to her. I sent her an email that talked about over-inviting, and I sent her an email that gave her the link to her party. This is an addition, the extra way to help you ensure that those parties that you book, and you can do this for December ones, but January especially, that they're gonna hold, and that you're gonna stay forefront in her mind, because she's gonna be getting these from you in the mail. So there's that first one, and I printed it out. I wrote in, hi, Kathy, I'm excited to cook with you on January 8th. I signed it, I put my contact info, and I did a little highlighting thing. You might make her some little love notes around here. I mean, if you want to get fancy, put some confetti in her envelope or stickers on the outside, something like that. I've got all three of those printed out and ready. And they're addressed, and their return address. And then what I do is I write the date that I want to mail them right where the stamp goes. So this one says November 25th. It's the day after Thanksgiving for letter number 1. This one is letter number 2. A couple weeks later, it says 12/8, December 8th. That's letter number 2. And letter number 3 is the day after Christmas. And so I set these up. I don't have to do anything else except file them with my bills. I also have dates under where the stamp goes as to when those need to be mailed out. And I put stamps on and I mail them on those days. And come early January, I restart my regular host coaching with her. Okay. You want to do this for your November hosts, for your December hosts, do the exact same thing and just put the dates so that they're staggered for the 3 weeks prior to their party. What do you think of that idea?
Sounds very well organized.
Very well organized, yes. Okay. Sound like a lot of extra work? Anybody?
Sounds like it's work that probably pays off.
It does pay off. It does definitely pay off.
What do you do when you don't have as much lead time before your shows?
I scrunch them in there, or maybe I'll just do 2 of them or just 1. I've had that happen,
Like I have a show coming up on the 18th.
Awesome. Drop one in the mail tomorrow. Do another one on the 5th and call it a day, and then implement the rest of your solid host coaching for her.
Okay.
Okay. That's a piece that kind of falls right in line with something I implemented. It's been about a year now. I learned it's very similar it's a personal letter that I mail to my hosts as soon as they book their parties. And what I found about a year ago is that my show average was really falling. It was down to, 500 or so, which for me was pretty low. And I kind of like, okay, I need to do something fresh and new to beef up my host coaching. And I had, at National Conference, I had learned about this particular technique. The girl who taught me this calls this a guilt letter. And I've been doing this for about a year now, and my show average has been coming back up, and I'm back up to doing 8 to 12 parties a month again. And so this is a technique you can do. I'll share my screen and show you. I've got a picture of it here in Evernote, and I can send you guys any of these from Evernote because I've got it all handy and where I need it. And this is called my host coaching guilt letter, which is not a great name, but it kind of is. And basically it's a handwritten note that you send to your hosts right after they book. And you basically are thanking them for scheduling their party with you and telling them how much you're looking forward to partnering with them to make it a huge success. And it thanks them so much for helping make this party a success because it's doing something for you. In this case, for me, it's the parties are helping earn our vacation for the year. So I'll say, hey, thanks for having your party with me. I want to help it make it a great success. And your party will be helping to qualify me for a free vacation to Mexico. How cool are you? My family says thank you and sends hugs. Looking forward to pampering you, Shelley. This goes out in the mail the day after they book. And I sit in front, when I'm sitting watching the news, I sit and write these generic. And so when I book a party, I just write in their name and put it in an envelope and mail it out. And it's a very personal touch. How many times do you get a handwritten anything in the mail these days?
Not very often.
Yeah, not this often, not very often. So texting and all that has its place, but not very often. So I implemented this last year. Again, the question is, if you're going to go out and do the party, do you want to have it be a barn burner and get 2 to 3 to 4 new bookings from it? Or are you okay going and cooking with 5 people or 3 people and having it be a $200 or $300 or $400 party? And an emphasis like this will raise your whole business to a level, and you put your systems in place so that you can easily apply the same steps to every party. Does anybody have questions about that little thank you letter for thank you for booking with me, or the three letter system that Pampered Chef has made available for us?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Does anyone have questions about what I just covered? The 3 host coaching letters, or this extra little letter that I'm sending out? Would anyone like me to send this to them so that they can see it and implement it? You don't have to recreate the wheel. You can write exactly what I write on mine.
You said you have it in Evernote?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
That'd be great.
Down here at the bottom, there's the original one from, her name is Lisa. She's another director. This is where I got it. It says, my infamous guilt letter. It's cancellation insurance is what she calls it. So let me copy and share this, and I'll post it in our team page for you guys, so you can use it. Feel free. I was just doing it on a regular piece of paper for the longest time, but Pampered Chef does in fact have these cute little thank you cards that you can get that come with envelopes and everything. Okay, so we've covered a bunch of stuff. I can do a couple other things for you here today. I can show you, if you'd like, my host coaching checklist as it's evolved, and I can share that with you and walk you through how I use it. Or we can just kind of go into some questions and answers. What would you guys like?
You have the host coaching checklist in an Evernote also?
Absolutely.
That would be great.
Okay. All right. Just pasting this. Okay, so that's on our team page right now. Okay, so keep in mind that this is a fairly high-end kind of checklist. It's extremely thorough. I don't do every step every single time, but they're all on my list so that when I need them, I can. All right. If my host coaching, if my show average kind of falls a bit or my numbers of bookings fall, I know that I need to refocus on my list, but the list is pretty thorough. Okay. So it's taking a second to load. Give that a second. And also I can send this to you and you can use my checklist, or you can use the one that I just showed you on the website. Okay, so here's my checklist. And up here at the top, places for contact info, place for the recipe that we're going to cook. And then basically in Evernote, you can do this in Evernote, or I could send this to you and you can just print yourself out, 20 hard copies of it and have a hard copy for each post you do. And this is how I started my business 16 years ago, is I had a physical hard copy of a checklist and I used that actual piece of paper for every single party until I evolved into doing everything electronically. So that's why you're seeing it on the screen right now. So my computer's saying tilt here, but there's a place for confirming the show date with her. So when I booked the party at Sally's party last weekend, but then I call her Monday morning or text or email and we verify that that date works. And so I'll check that off at the time, who she booked from. Offered, what does this mean? Offered OPP, what does that mean? Anyone? Offered her the opportunity to do Pampered Chef.
Yeah.
OPP, opportunity. Yeah. So I make sure that I offer every host the opportunity at least 3 times. Okay, what's on her wish list? Check this off when I send her host package. I do now have a digital host packet. So when I send that to her, I check that off. There's my guilt letter. So for me, it's not done unless I check it off and put the date that I did it, because I have a lot of parties going on. Is anybody else wildly busy? So if it's not checked off, I didn't do it. So I'll go and do it again. And every once in a while I duplicate a step, but it's very important for me to follow this list and add it, be very thorough with every host. And my host feedback is that they get immense amount of support. Did you know that Pampered Chef polls your hosts? That every host gets surveyed after they submit a show. Were you aware of that?
No.
You want to know what the number one piece of feedback is year after year after year? Any guesses?
I never heard from my host. My consultant.
I wish I had heard from them more.
Mm-hmm.
That is the feedback that your hosts give Pampered Chef. I really wish I'd have gotten more support. I wish she'd have been closer contact with me. Do you ever get in that point where you're really busy and you've got a show coming up and you're like, no, I don't want to bug her. I don't want to bother her. I talked to her last week. You ever do that? They want to hear from you. They're desperate to have a great party. They want it to be successful. They just don't know how. And a disappointed host is the saddest thing, and you can prevent it if you're in contact. In fact, I recommend you set a day of the week, and that's my host contact day. Call it Monday, call it Tuesday, I don't care when, but a day of the week where you contact every host that's already on your calendar. So you're touching your hosts every single week. Would that be a new step for you? Are you currently talking with your hosts on a weekly basis?
Not as often as I should.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference. And it's all about encouragement and excitement and, ooh, how many people have you invited? You've invited 8. Oh, that's a great start. But let's take a look at that list, because you're only going to get 1 out of every 5 people you invite is actually going to be there. So if you stop at 8, you're going to have like 1.5 or less people there. You're going to be so bummed. So let's see how we can add to that list. Did you invite all your neighbors? No, really? Oh my gosh, why not? Let's do that. Did you invite everybody from work? Okay, so maybe you ask her, well, how many people did you invite? I invited 20. Fabulous. That's a great start. But you're only going to get 1 out of 5. How many did you invite? I invited 80. Wow, that's a great start. Excellent. Let's see if we can add to that. Okay, I'm exaggerating here, but that's exactly what you want to be doing. You want to cheer for what they did and then help them take the next step. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Alrighty, so back to my host checklist here. There's a place for, I put a note that reminds me to put my host in my cell phone, their address and their phone number, so that I can text them when I have a minute, when I'm in line at the store or when I'm in line waiting to fill my car with gas. I can text them, hey, how you doing? Right? And checking in, do you need any help on all those outside orders you're collecting? And she'll go, oh, what is she going to think if I ask that? Do you need help with all those outside orders you're collecting? Oh, shoot, I'm not collecting any. I better get going on that. Okay, so she's in my cell phone. You set her up on your personal website and get the link. Okay, then I have a series of emails. And if you've been with me for a while, you've seen these. Email 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a guest list. There's a save the date that I ask her to forward. There's an email with an order form. There's an email with goodies that is the host rewards that I CC to the past host. Is any of this familiar?
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay. Then there's an email with a shopping list. That doesn't go until 5 or 6 days beforehand. Okay, so those are my emails. And when I send you this host coaching checklist, all of these links have those emails. You just click on it, open it up, paste it into an email, and send it. And I'll show you a nifty little trick I do. When I send my host one of those emails, and they're always the same, I go to my sent emails in my email box, and I grab the one I just sent to her, and I pull it and dump it into my host coaching folder in my email box. That way, the next person that I need to send that email to, I can just come here. There's the November goodies. I just sent it to Randy, whose party's on November 5th. And I can click forward and send it to the girl who just booked November 17th. And I change Randy's name to Sally's name. And I send it. You following me?
Mhm.
So I'm not recreating these each time. If you guys are on my team and you get consistent things from me, I do the exact same thing with you guys. When I send something to Annette about training, then the next week I'm training somebody else. I just go get the one I sent to Annette, forward it to Jane, and click change Annette's name to Jane's name. This is not a challenging business. You do not have to recreate the wheel. You just have to put a system in place to repeat yourself over and over and over again. And you too can make $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a month. Happy days? Okay. If you haven't sat with me in my office and seen my systems, things that I've got in place, set an appointment and come to my office. Even if we have to do it like Zoom like this, it's well worth it. Come to one of my shows, come sit with me for office day. Okay? Okay, so I have this host coaching folder in my email box, and that's where I just dump all these emails after I send them, and I just reuse them. And at the change of the month, I change the October picture to the November picture and restart sending that one out. All right. If you look back at the host coaching checklist, then there's a section with the emails. There's a section of text messages, and that link will take you to all the little pictures I save in my cell phone of my text messaging, my host coaching text pictures that I send to my hosts. And so they have all of these text messages that I could possibly do. Lisa, do I do all of them every time? No. But if they tell me text works for them, I make sure that I'm using text. There's another section for Facebook. Okay, and then because I'm a stats junkie, I keep track of the stats for my parties once they happen and before they close. Okay, do you find that helpful, that checklist, or overwhelming, or both?
I think it's all helpful.
All helpful. What do you?
Just have to kind of get it into our own systems.
Yeah, into your own system. Take what you like and ditch the rest. No problem. I'm posting it here on our team page. Okay, the lovely thing about it is that you don't have to create a system. You can either go use the one that's on Pamper Jeff's website or mine. I don't care. As long as you have a system, you can do 1 party or 30 a month. And you can apply the same steps each time. Okay, well, we covered a bunch of things. We talked about some in general host coaching. We talked about some specific to the holidays. What questions do you have? Or what did you get out of our time together that you found the most valuable? Let's kind of do a little assessment here, and then we'll wrap up and be done.
Are we going to cover the Black Friday stuff, or do you want to do that another time?
We can cover the Black Friday stuff real quickly. Yes, thank you so much for reminding me. So they had a, if you follow the STIR link, and it has a plan for right here. If you go to the website and the holidays, it has do you know that they do this for you? They have these resources. It's a plan for October and a plan for November. These are great resources. So under training and resources right now, there's under the holidays 2016. Did you know the average person will spend $805 during the holiday? And there's a plan for October and a plan for November. I already opened this one up. Oopsies. Here it is. It's really quite excellent. And so answering, Carol was asking me a question about this. This is actually, it gives you your to-do list right here. And then it says what you'll see on your personal website and the pamperchef.com holiday page for your customers. So it gives you a heads up on what they're going to introduce for you or what materials Pampered Chef is going to put out there so that you can drive your customers to the website, your website. And this is from November 1st through the 15th. They're going to add new articles, hostess gifts. If you scroll down, this is all the things they're going to add in those first 2 weeks of November. And there's going to be some social media posts coming. And if you look right here, down here, here's where Carol was talking about, right? Carol, was this it?
Are you in the November plan?
The November plan, and it says on November 21st, it says Black Friday Outlet. If you look at your calendar, November 21st is a Monday. There it is right there, November 21st. What that's saying is that on November 21st, your customers will get an email about shopping on your outlet on Black Friday.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Pampered Chef's going to do that for you as long as you're opted into the newsletter. And on November 28th, they're going to get an email that says there's free shipping on Cyber Monday and Cyber Week on the outlet. And I cross-checked this after Carol asked me about it, and they're going to send us more details about this week. Tomorrow's Monday. It'll be out sometime this week. So watch for details. Could be in the STIR that comes out Tuesday. But Pampered Chef last year, I know, did a goodie for us that they offered free shipping on $75 and up orders. I think it was on Cyber Monday, the Monday after Thanksgiving. They did that for us. And we got a ton of business. So you want to contact your preferred customers and say, hey, heads up, be forewarned. Start making your wish list because there's going to be free shipping on my site. Okay, but more details will come out about this week. Does that help a little bit, Carol?
Yes, thank you.
You bet. Absolutely. So the average online order last year on Cyber Monday was $90. That means $18 in commission in your pocket for each order placed on your personal website on Cyber Monday. You want to make sure everybody you know is added into your customer list, that the button is checked for them to get your newsletter, and that you're opted in on that. There's a little button on the newsletter page that you have to push. If you're brand new, you have to push that button in order to turn on the newsletter so that your customers get it.
Where is that again?
Okay. So I know that our session is gonna black out again on us in just a minute or two, and we're going on a little longer than I planned. So if it turns off,
So it's on the My Pampered Chef login page. Okay.
yes, log in. This
Okay.
is Consultants Corner right here, Debbie.
Yeah.
And so you're in there if it says hi, Debbie, right
Oh,
there.
yeah, I've been on that. So it's in there somewhere. Okay.
And it's under Selling and Recruiting, right here, the second tab from the left, and then Customer Newsletter, and you have to scroll down to the bottom once you open up that
Okay.
page. You can customize your newsletter. Honest to goodness, I never customize it. I just let it go. It's automatic as long as you've got this button checked. If you are logged on, if you have said yes, send the newsletter to my customers, it'll say opt out on there. If you're not, it'll say opt in.
Okay. So
Click
you want it to say opt out when you look at it.
You want it to look just like mine right now.
Okay.
Because
Opt out. Okay.
exactly. It's a toggle, on or off, on or off, on or off, right?
Yep.
Okay, so everybody, your homework after we're done with this is to go check that and then go to our Facebook page and post. Yes, wow, I didn't know I needed to click that. All of a sudden, you're going to get tons more business. Okay. All right, other ahas and wows that we got from our time here together. If we get cut off, I'm going to direct everybody to our Facebook page to post. You need to all post there. I'll lay awake all night long worried that this wasn't helpful for you. The other thing I want to know is, do you have other topics that you would like us to do this kind of a training for? Because I'd be delighted if you tell me what topics you want us to cover. We can set up another time and have another training. Okay?
So Shelley,
Yes.
one of the things I noticed on your thing was you have the link to your what was it? Your host packet. What do you put in your host packet?
So is it the link to the digital host packet?
Yes.
Annette?
Yes.
So the digital host packet has links to the specials and whatnot, but my actual hard copy host packet,
Uh-huh.
is that what you're asking about?
Both. Yeah.
So there are new folders that I do recommend. They're a little pricey, but I do recommend them. They look like this. And I've recently, because again, my show average was kind of falling, and I recently sort of beefed it up a little bit. So it's got a little more in it than I used to. I'll post this letter, but it's got a little letter that kind of coaches them. It's got some mini catalogs and holiday helpers they can use as invitations. There is now, I didn't used to do this, there's a copy of the order form, so they can make copies. And then 3 catalogs, and there's, most importantly, info about doing Pampered Chef and a coupon for the kit credit.
Okay.
Okay,
Mhm.
that's correct. And that actually, I just beefed this up with many of those extra pieces a month ago. And my sales this month are $8,900. My sales last month were $5,700. Okay.
Yeah.
If you focus on your host coaching, you will see your whole business rise. That's what I did. It was intentional. Yes, I'm spending a little bit more money on this, but it was a strategic thing.
The